She knew that if she would have left, that her kids will be in danger, and she was financially dependent on her husband, and she knew that if she left and she came back, it would have been worse.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Prosecution, cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mrs. Bergen, is it true that you only met with Mrs. Monroe once to talk about her entire relationship with her husband?
Yes.
Is it true that you only examined Martha Monroe for only 1 hour during this one-time consultation?
Yes.
Is it also true that this 1 hour examination took place a whole month after the crime had taken place?
Yes.
How about the payment that was made to you by Mrs. Monroe? Didn't she have to pay you $1,500 in exchange for you just to agree to testify?
Yes.
Now let's move on to her evaluation. Mrs. Bergen, didn't you claim that your first impression of Martha was that she was an intelligent woman?
Yes.
Didn't you also claim that she'd be able to make her own living? She'd be able to make her own living after getting some training?
Yes.
So isn't it possible that she could have gotten a job and thus not have been dependent on her husband financially?
There was no way of it. She didn't accept any help. So it's basically...
Mrs. Bergen, this is a yes or no question.
Can you repeat the question?
So isn't it possible that she could have gotten a job and thus not have been dependent on her husband financially?
No.
Okay, nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, witness is excused. Thank you.
Does the defense have any further witnesses it would like to call?
Yes, Your Honor. I call Martha Monroe to be witness.
Mrs. Monroe, please come forward.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you, Johnny Reeves and Associates. All right? To the microphone.
Miss Martha Monroe, how old are you?
23 years old.
And how many children do you have?
2 children.
How old are your children?
Jonathan is 4, Stephanie is 2.
Those are very little children. And how long were you married to George Monroe?
5 years.
During your marriage, did George ever beat you?
As soon as we got married.
Do you remember the first time he beat you? Why did he do it?
He came home drunk. He started yelling about me, about the kids crying and not having his dinner ready. At first it was a slap or 2 and then it got worse.
Would this happen often, Miss Monroe?
At least once a week. One time he slapped me so hard I fell down and chipped one of my front teeth.
Were they predictable beatings?
No,
How serious did they get?
pretty serious. One time he choked me, I passed out and landed in the hospital. Dr. Nova told me I was lucky to be alive.
Yes, I see here on your hospital records the marks of beating included severe bruises, cuts, joint swelling, and even fractured ribs. But I also see you denied being beaten. Why is this?
If George ever found out that I had told the police, he would threaten to kill me and the kids.
In your statement, it said that you tried to run away to a shelter, but ended up coming back home for Christmas. How come?
George had called me the night before and told me that he would stop drinking and that he'd stop hitting me. Of course, that wasn't true.
So what did happen when you returned home?
When I walked through the door, he came in on me and started kicking me and beating me. He threatened to kill me and the kids if we ever tried to do that again.
Can you tell me, Miss Monroe, did you feel you needed to defend yourself and the kids on June 17th?
Yes.
What made you believe yours and the kids' life was in danger?
The fact that one day he came home, he looked me right in the eyes and told me that I would be dead, me and the 2 brats.
I can see, Miss Monroe, it is difficult for you to talk about this even now. It must have been horrible how your husband treated you. But tell us honestly, why did you feel your life was in such extreme danger?
That one time he choked me and I passed out. Another time he went to the garage, loaded it, came back and pointed it straight at me. He told me that next time I would be dead for sure.
One last question, Miss Monroe. Can you tell me how you felt in the 5 years of your relationship with George?
Terrified, lonely, trapped, helpless, and defeated.
Thank you. One more question.
Thank you. Prosecution, cross-examination.
Hello, you got married at the age of 18 to George.
Yes.
During the years you were married to George, did he hit you?
Yes.
You wanted to get away, but you were too afraid, right?
Yes.
Is it true that you had a different place to stay other than your home, like a shelter?
Yes.
Is it true that Terry Stein, the woman from the shelter you went to, offered to help you get some training so that you could get a job?
Yes.
Is it true that Terry Stein tried talking you out of going back to George, but you insisted on going back to him?
Yes.
You knew that if you went back to him, that not only your safety would be in danger, but also the safety of your 4-year-old Jonathan and your 2-year-old Stephanie, right?
Correct.
You have a sibling named Alex Chavez, am I correct?
Yes.
Good person, right?
Yes.
You and your sibling, Alex, are pretty close to all of us, right?
Yes.
Is it true that help was offered to you by Alex?
Yes.
Is it true that Alex offered to take both you and your children in?
Yes.
Is it true that you took the gun and hid it in the kitchen?
Yes.
Is it true that you called your brother Alex before the incident?
Yes.
Is it true that you told him, I have to fix things before it's too late?
Yes.
Is it true that you had time to think about what you were doing before you did it?
Yes.
Is it true that you signed the first witness statement saying you were aware of what you told the police?
Yes.
That at any time you can decide that you didn't want to answer any of these questions?
Yes.
Also that you were willing to, that you were aware that you didn't have to make a statement?
Yes.
Did you think a man lying on his chest, under covers, sleeping, could harm you in some way or form?
Yes.
You think that someone in that position has self-defense to an attack that you did?
No.
Okay, witness is excused.
Does the defense have any further witnesses it would like to call at this time?
No, the defense rests.
Thank you, Counselor. But at this time, due to time constraints, I'm going to call a 23-hour and 15-minute recess. Court will re-adjourn tomorrow in room 152B at 1:45 p.m.